morning and welcome to another Parker Adams Boat Sales video walkthrough tour. Today I'm on the Hamble River and we have behind us a Sealine S28. Now this is a 2001 boat which was launched, it's a model year 2002, and the lovely thing about this boat is it's got lots and lots of upgrades. People that know the channel know that I like boats with upgrades, and this boat has been really lovingly put together by its owner. It's got some new navigation on it, it's got new cockpit upholstery, but one of the things that's really lovely about the Sealine S28 is the amount of internal space that you get. Now as you can see down below, this area here is really class leading. It's a large open seating area. You've got a lovely sized galley on this side. You've got a separate head which is easily accessible here from both the main saloon and also the rear cabin. So it's a Jack and Jill arrangement here, so you can get access from both sides, which is really nice. But back to the external features of the boat. As many of you may know, I've already done a walkthrough tour on a Sealine S28, so I'm not going to go into lots and lots of detail on the 28 itself, but really what makes this boat a little bit different from other ones that we've brokered, and run through the rest of it from here. So if we start off by walking down the sides of the boat, the first thing to note is that the covers are in really good condition on this boat. Covers are one of those things, boats that are of this sort of age, they'll certainly need to have at least a couple of cover changes, and the covers on this are really presented in nice condition. The rest of the boat is really clean and tidy. She's lived her life on the mid-river over by the Folly Inn but recently, so she's got some nice features, like she's got a really large solar panel because she's not always plugged into power, so she has a solar panel which goes into a solar controller and tops up the batteries, of which there were 3 new batteries just this year. As you can see, there's a nice polished effect on the boat. Because it's a dewy morning, you can't see too much in terms of the polish, but I can assure you there's a nice effect under there. It's a nicely looked after boat. On the top, you may notice that we've got these rings here that keep the sunbathing cushions in place, and this boat does come with sunbathing cushions. They're original, they're not in the same Diamonte upholstery as the rest of the boat, but you could of course recover those and upgrade them, but they're presented in nice condition anyway. Forward, you've got the typical Sealine moulded bow arrangement where you don't actually see the anchor. The anchor is tucked up underneath there, but you do have an electric windlass on this boat, so you've got up and down buttons, and I would say they've been changed in recent years because they look like they're really nice new buttons on there. The rest of the walk around the boat, if we go back down this side, you can see the handholds are at a good height, so when you're walking around, safety is paramount on the Sealines. They always think about these, and although the side decks aren't the largest on Sealines, and one of the reasons they do this is they like to maximise that internal space, you do have handholds that go all the way around the window and also on the sides here. The rest of the boat, all the windows, there's no evidence of any leaking windows. We've had loads of nasty weather here on the Hamble recently, and there's certainly been no evidence of any leaks on board the boat. We've had it here for a couple of weeks now. And if we move around to the stern of the boat, you'll notice that the stern of the boat is laid to synthetic teak, and in fact that runs all the way through the cockpit space as well. So it's really nice synthetic teak on the cockpit space and down below. And when we step on board, you may notice a slight hum. Now the hum is because this boat's fitted with diesel powered heating. I have to say this is one of the most efficient units that I've come across. I went on board the boat about 10-15 minutes ago, put the heating on, and actually when I came off it a few minutes ago I almost considered turning it off again. It's really warm on there already, so that's really nice. So let's step on board the boat and carry on the walkthrough tour. I'm just going to bring the boat in slightly for my camera assistant here today. Perfect. Obviously this doesn't come across on camera, but it actually is really warm here. I probably should have turned the heating off. The upholstery, I always talk about sort of the spraddling material, which is either, a lot of people have Silvertex or Diamonte. The upholstery they've used on this is Diamonte, so you can see there's a slight weave in the upholstery, and it's all been reupholstered in the last couple of years, and it's presented absolutely beautifully. I've not seen this grey colour in the cockpit space on an S28 before, and I really like it. You've got seating at the back here. If I just grab the camera actually, so if I just grab the camera, so if we go around the back here, it's probably easiest just to show here. We've got really nice seating area here. There's a big table that folds up on here, and Sealine always have quite a nice design on this table, that the table can be lifted up and then just pinned up onto the top here if you need to get access to the engines. So the table's downstairs on the aft cabin bed. I'll show you that in a second, but just as a quick go around, you can see all of this upholstery is presented in beautiful condition all the way around here. You've got this louved effect on the seating, which is actually, it's quite classic. That I haven't seen that for a few years. A lot of people when they reupholster get rid of that, but actually it looks really effective. I like it. It gives a little bit more texture to the boat. And whilst we're at the back here, I sometimes do the engine bit last, but we're going to pop down there now and do that straight away. Access to the engines is just under this hatch. It's not a hydraulic hatch. Sorry, it's not an electric hatch because it's powered by hydraulics. You can just lift that up, and if I come down into here, you can see nestling down here twin KAD32's engines. Now these develop 170 horsepower each, and I brought this boat back across from Cowes just a few weeks ago, and the performance on the boat was really nice. She popped up on the plane really well, and I cruised across at about 22-23 knots, and it felt very effortless, and there was lots of power in reserve on those. Now these engines have had a lot of work done to them in recent years. They've had a new port and starboard turbos, the intercoolers have been cleaned out, and they've been maintained beautifully. There's a full list of everything that's been done to these engines on the listing, but what you know when you buy this boat is you're getting a really robust set of engines in these KAD32's. There's also some non-slip matting that's been put down there on the floor, and then you've got a fire system down there as well, and then these Parker fuel separators here as well with glass bowls, which is nice so you can see if there's any water in them. Let's pop that back down again and carry on moving forward. So on the S28, of course, you have this large seating area just here, and then a window there that goes into the aft cabin. And just to show you how I'm doing this a bit disjointed today, you've got there a sink with hot and cold running water. Just inside here you've got a fridge, which has also been replaced recently, and then on this S28 you have your battery isolators. Close the door there. There we go. On the battery isolators, you have 2 isolators just in there, and then your gas bottles are kept just under this hatch in here, which actually I've put the dashboard cover in, but I promise you there are 2 gas bottles in there. I'm having problems with this catch. I'm clearly getting something wrong with this catch here. There we go. That's closed now. So onto the dashboard. So on the dash on this boat you have a radar. So you've got an original Raymarine radar here, you've got a Tridata, you've got a VHF, and then the dash panel has been wrapped in this carbon. In fact, I'm not sure if it's a wrap or if it's... I think it's a wrap. I don't think it's genuine, but there's a wrap there, and that looks really effective and just sets off this dash panel really nicely. You don't have the EDC controls on this boat, but you do have these Morse controls, which actually are really nice to use. They're very click in, click out of gear, and handling this boat was incredibly easy. This boat doesn't come with a bow thruster, but I have to say it was a very simple boat to manoeuvre, so I would question whether you need one, but of course it is something that could be retrofitted. You've got Mente Marine auto tabs that have been fitted to this boat, and again I tested those on the way over and they seem to work very well as well. You have upgraded navigation, so in terms of the navigation on the boat you have here a Raymarine hybrid touch plotter that runs on the, I think it's the Lighthouse 2 operating system, but it's a really nice system, simple, easy to use, touch screen, and that's standalone there, so it's got its own GPS built into there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask my camera assistant to come out the cabin here. Thank you, Grace. And I'm going to come down, and in fact, just slip my shoes off for a second. And in fact, it is so warm down here, I am going to have to turn the heating off. So that does just prove how efficient the heating is. You can see it's a heating system which is an Eberspacher, and to turn it off, all I need to do is press that button there, and you'll hear the note of the engine change and wind down shortly. You've got a battery monitor, which is fitted here, and then the standard Sealine array of switches. Everything's controlled here with an additional twin USB slot there, and a little pouch here, so if you put your phone in charge, you can slot it in there, which I really like. There's an original Sony head unit up here, and that's obviously something that could be changed for a fusion unit or something similar, but overall the boat is presented in really nice condition. The oven particularly, I'm sure that's been replaced at some point because it looks absolutely immaculate there. The rest of the boat, you've got this blue slightly suede effect upholstery, no rips, tears, everything presented really well. Yellowy curtains, hatches all work, no drips, so we've had a lot of rain the last few days and it is bone dry in here. Here you have the heads. It's a wet room in here, so the shower pulls out from there, and then there's a shower curtain which is just there, and that pulls all the way around to turn this into a total wet room with drainage down there. And this was the Jack and Jill door that I was talking about, so I can close that up, open that out, and here you have cupboard space, the door there that goes into the cabin, lift up here, which is a little bit vanitary unit, and then this large double bed that's got on it the solar panel I mentioned about. There's the table, and you've got infill cushions here, which is both to convert the area behind me into a sleeping area, and then also infill cushions there to create a large sun pad on the rear as well. So that's got everything that you need to create both the infill here for sleeping and also the infill at the top. So if we go back up now, what I will do is just pass the camera back to Grace there, and I'll have a little sit down. So the Sealine S28 is a very, very popular boat on the Solent. Obviously it's the time of year now that some people aren't thinking about summer boating but more winter boating, and actually I think a boat like this is really nicely set up for that. As I said earlier, I put the heating on and within 10 minutes it was too hot, I had to turn it off. So there's a very, very efficient heating unit on this boat. With all the covers up, they're a good set of covers, so if you're going out for a day's winter boating, you wouldn't need to take the covers off in order to have good visibility and see around. So it really makes this boat very versatile and the ability to use it all year round. In fact, the idea of boating in the winter is something that I've only done for the last 2 or 3 years. There's something really nice because most of the places you go are all empty. Some of the marinas actually even have half-price winter rates, so it's actually quite a lot cheaper around the Solent during the winter, but you still get to visit all the really nice places. So this Sealine S28, just a reminder, it's a 2001 boat, 2002 model year, powered by twin Volvo Penta KAD31 engines with 170 horsepower each, and it's presented in very nice upgraded condition. New plotter, new upholstery, new flexi-teak on the floor, and everything about this boat I really like. So come and view the boat. It's here on our sales pontoon on the River Hamble. See the particulars, they're online everywhere. Of course, they're on our website. They're also on Yacht World, Boat Shop 24, Boats and Outboards, the Yacht Market, all the places that we advertise. Thanks as always for watching, and we very much look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks as always.